The woman known as Kieran gave distressing details at a police news conference this afternoon, describing what happened to her and her 6-month-old baby.
I'd just gotten off the phone with my husband, just gotten out of the car to stop and get some stuff at Woolies, and I was getting my daughter out of her car seat and he just came up out of nowhere behind me with a knife, and he just said, "Get in your car and drive." And I just remember begging, like, "I've got a daughter, like, you can have my car, you can have my wallet, my phone, just take everything, just leave me with my daughter." And he just kept demanding, "I don't want your car, I don't want your wallet, I don't want your phone, just get in the car and drive." I don't know how long we stood there for, but then I ended up getting in the car and he got in the back seat with my daughter, and I was very nervous, and I'm already quite a nervous driver. And we started driving and he just said, basically, "Go to Lynbrook." I'm like, "I don't know where that is." And he said, "I'll tell you, just go." And he said to stop crying and stop, to just breathe. And I obviously couldn't. So it wasn't the best driver at that moment. And we just kept driving, and I just remember feeling really sick, and my daughter just kept crying in the back seat. Yeah. And all I can remember hearing is my daughter crying, and he was trying to get her to calm down, and I was trying to get her to calm down, and we're both crying, and he's just saying, "Stop crying." And I ended up feeling really sick, and so we ended up pulling over so I could throw up. And then we switched car spots, so he was then driving, and I could sit in the back with my daughter, and I got her to calm down, and she luckily went to sleep, so she slept through most of it, which I'm very thankful for. And then we went to the first place, and he told me what he wanted, and so I went in. I asked him if I could take my daughter, and he said, well, obviously not, like, thinking back, like, bad robbery if he let me take my daughter in with me. So he kept my daughter in the car, and he promised that he wouldn't drive away with her or anything. And then went into the stores there at the first place, and I came back, and then we went to another set of stores, and then my husband caught up with us, and I knew he knew something was wrong, because my husband was calling, and then my dad started calling, so I knew he had contacted my family looking for me. And my husband caught up with us at the second set of stores and tried to confront us, and I just remember yelling at my husband that he has a knife and that I just didn't want him to get hurt. And then my husband tried to save my daughter, couldn't, and the door was locked, and she's in a car seat, which I'd already gone through the possibility of taking her out of the car seat and running, but you can't do that. Car seats are not made for quick exiting. Anyway, after that, obviously my husband was tracking me on I have like an iPhone, he tracked me, and then the guy threw my phone and keys out the windows, and my poor husband got an incident on his phone saying that my phone was in a crash, and so he thought the worst. We weren't in a crash, obviously. My phone had just been thrown out the window. And then we pulled into a park, and he said, "That's it, you can take your daughter home." And I started driving and realised I could pull over for help, and pulled over to a strip of shops and asked for help. And, yeah.
Jeez, you poor thing. Can you, Kieran, in that moment where you've had to leave your baby in the car with him and go inside, is it survival? What's going through your head?
I knew it was easy to stay calm. I knew my husband was looking for me. He was constantly calling, and I knew he was coming, and I knew he would be contacting the police. And I knew like some of the shopkeepers had asked if I was okay, so I knew they knew something was wrong. And I hated leaving my daughter in the car, but I made the guy promise not to take her away, and he promised, and it's obviously hard to believe him, but I had to believe him because I didn't want her to be taken, and he promised me that he wouldn't take her, that it wouldn't aid him in any way to take her away from me. I was just so worried that in a panic he would drive the car away with her inside. And he didn't, and I was really thankful for that.
And when you got to the park and he finally got out of the car and left you, what were you thinking? What was your first? Grab your baby, give her a hug?
I was just get in the car and lock the doors. And just leave and just get help. I initially just wanted to go home, but then when I started driving, I thought I just need to stop. I shouldn't drive, and two, I just wanted to talk to my husband and tell him we were okay, and that my daughter was okay. Yeah.
Incredible courage and bravery. You should be so proud of yourself and how you handled it. It's not easy for anyone. And to go into the shop the way that you did and try to be composed. I mean, looking back on it, what do you think of it all?
I was really extremely nice. I think back, I'm like, I must have sounded like a lunatic to him because I was like I was helping him rob me. I was really, really nice. But that's what, it sounds really stupid, what we're taught, I'm a primary school teacher, so what I'm taught is to de-escalate any extreme situations, and that was my first go-to, was be really, really nice, and by the end it was I just wanted it to be over.
But you were trying to protect your daughter.
Yep.
And you mentioned that you smashed your phone on the road. Were you able to contact your husband through your phone? Was it still working?
He threw my window. I think by that stage I'd won him over with my kindness. He threw when I said, please don't throw my phone out the window, he threw it out the window, said, don't worry, I'm throwing it on the grass so it doesn't break. And so my phone's with police at the moment, and I'm just living off my husband's phone and my iPad in the meantime. But I ended up just driving to a random strip of shops and begging someone at this poor kebab shop. Owners were so confused. I walked in and I was just blubbering mess with my daughter. And they were really nice and let me borrow their phone, and they were, just really nice.
And this happened last week. How have you been, and how's your family been since it happened?
Good. As good as you can be. This is the first time I've left the house, and I've told myself I can be a hermit for 1 or 2 weeks, and then I have to, obviously the world doesn't stop, and bad things happen, and obviously it's a rare case, and I have to tell myself that it's very unlikely to ever happen again to me, and I wouldn't wish it upon anyone else. But obviously, it's really hard to feel safe. Going to a shopping centre is basically out of the question at the moment. Any car parks, I just can't. And I'm really lucky my friends and family have been around non-stop, so I've always been surrounded by that love and support, which has really helped. It's just really hard to feel safe. I'm one of those people, I leave my door unlocked, and especially with my daughter, because my family's always coming in and out, I leave it unlocked and just tell them to let themselves in, and that's not an option anymore. Just in our bedroom door now locks at night. That security blanket that you sort of have, it's just gone. So it's just hard to sort of relax.
Can you remember much of what he was saying to you?
Yeah, I remember a lot. We had a good chat. He told me, I assume I can share this information. He told me, it could have been a lie, I don't know. He told me he used to be a nurse and that he wasn't going to hurt my daughter because he had a niece her age. which at the time was comforting. Obviously, being a nurse, you have to have some sort of you have to have kindness in your heart for that sort of profession. I just have to believe that he wasn't going to hurt us by the end. Yep.
Why do you think he did
Probably
it?
a question.
It's up to
Why do you think he did it? And do you have a message for him?
In my head, I just, now that they've said that he was there previously waiting, all my questions were around, why me? If I had been 5 minutes later or earlier, if I'd parked in a different spot, if I had I just can't. And obviously, he had my wallet and everything in the car with him. He potentially saw my license, so I don't know if he knows where I live. I don't know any of that. So that sort of closure's not there. And I think he obviously felt bad about it by the end. And I feel like he must still feel bad. I hope he feels bad, because I don't think he realised the impact it's had on my life. He apologised for ruining my night, but it's definitely had longer lasting effects. And I don't think he realised that it would impact me this badly. I think in his mind that it was just a one and done, but for me it's turned my life upside down for now. And it won't forever, I know that, but for now it's just a lot to handle.
Thank you for your time, Kieran, and being so brave and talking to us. Take care.